10 years old in a junkyard town. Sunbeam Alpine, windows down. Men twice my size, I learned their names by broken bolts and open flames. Ice at night, steel by day. Weight was truth, it never lied. I didn't dream, I didn't wait. I lifted what was in my way. Hard iron, dust in time. Hands get strong when hunger's mine. You don't ask, you don't pretend. You carry weight until it bends. Hard iron, burned in skin. Boy grows old before he's been. Anything soft falls behind. Just hard iron and time. 15 years in a motel room. Dish pit heat, red sauce fumes. Chef saw something I couldn't name. Put a knife in my hand, taught me flame. Responsibility came fast. Men got quiet, watched me work. Pressure didn't break my back. It showed me who I was worth. Hard iron, earn respect. You're only good as what you fix. No applause, no safety net. Just what you handle, what you miss. Hard iron, steady grind. Identity got forged in line. Nothing pushed, nothing kind. Just hard iron in time. Uniform tight, mind pulled thin. Learn control by boxing in it. Anger leash not thrown away. Put it to work, made it stay. Systems break, I see the seams. I build them straight, I make them run. Didn't notice what it cost. I only noticed what got done. Years stack up like loaded plates. Heart keeps pace, it never complains. You tell yourself you're built for this. That strength forgives, that grit persists. Then one day the body speaks. Not a warning, just release. Cold floor, white lights overhead. Doctors' words don't raise their voice. Heart don't care what you've survived. It doesn't grade your choices. I lay still, felt time slow. Every mile arrive at once. All that iron, all that will. Couldn't bargain, couldn't punch. Hard iron, still beating, but not the way it used to be. You don't outrun, you don't outwork what asked you finally to see. Hard iron, lesson learned. Some weights were never meant to turn. Nothing heroic, nothing kind, just hard iron and time. I didn't stop because I was done. I stopped because I was still here.
I didn't leave because I was angry. I left because everything got loud. Every voice trying to win the moment. Nobody listening to the ground. I wanted space, not distance from reality. Distance from the noise, pretending to be reality. I stepped off the treadmill, left the shouting behind. No flashing banners in my head, just space to think and time. They sell you urgency, they sell you fear. Every voice is louder, but nothing's clear. I don't listen to what's promised, I watch what happens. I don't follow tone, I follow patterns. No borrowed fear, no rented rage, just facts moving across the page. Watch the bills, choices form. Watch who bends, watch who storms. Signals matter, noise is cheap. What they say versus what they keep. This is Sane in Colombia, where the volume comes down. No talking points, no marching sound. I don't chase the noise, I don't rent my mind. I step back far enough to see the design. Coffee on the table, mountains in the frame. Thinking for myself, that's how I stay sane. Living sane in Colombia. Sane in Colombia. Sane in Colombia.
Good morning and welcome to the channel. I know I've got a few new viewers who are not from the Colombian Coffee Time group that we have. These are AI people, so I want to welcome you. Of course, this is my personal channel, which I'll talk about just about anything, but lately, for the last couple months, it's been AI, which my latest book arrived last night. That's a fiction book on AI, but I'm not here promoting anything. Today, I want to talk about something real. Now, the best I can tell is that most people using AI dip their toe into the chat bots and you ask it a question or whatever. And so when I came up with this, I'm talking mostly to people that have a light relationship with AI. There are some people that may tune into this that are heavily engrossed and may be very aware of what I'm about to talk about. But let's get to it and talk about it. So, AI is dead, right? Isn't that what I said? It's a dramatic thing to say, I know, but hear me out, because I mean it's something I think is genuinely worth understanding, and I'm going to explain it in plain language, hopefully without making your eyes glaze over. The AI that most of you have heard about, maybe tried, maybe just seen it on the news, the kind where you type a question and it answers, then sits quietly until you type again. That version of AI is being replaced right now. Not upgraded, replaced. And what's coming in behind it, it's different enough that it really does deserve a different conversation. So, what has it been till now? Most people's experience with AI, it goes something like this. You open a window on your computer or maybe your phone, you type a question, maybe about a medication, maybe asking it to help you write a letter, maybe trying to make sense of something in the news. And a very patient, very thorough voice on the other end, if you did it in voice, gives you an answer. And maybe you go back and forth a few times. And your first time doing it, it's like, well, this is cool, right? And then you close the window and go on about your day. It doesn't really have that much. It's like a glorified search, right? And of course, the AI just sits there. It waits. It doesn't exist anywhere else. It doesn't think about your problem while you're at the grocery store. It doesn't wake up in the middle of the night with a better answer. When you come back the next day and open a window, it won't even remember you. It won't remember you were there yesterday. Every conversation you ever had just vanished the moment you close the door. It's a very intelligent thing that only comes alive when you speak to it. And it goes completely dark the second you stop. And that's what's been called the chatbot model. And it became world famous in late 2022 when a company called OpenAI, it released something called ChatGPT. Within 2 months, 100 million people had logged on and tried it. To put that in perspective, it took Netflix 10 years to reach that many users. The excitement was real, and it was deserved. These things can explain almost anything in plain English or Spanish or whatever language you have. Help you write almost anything. Think through problems with you. And they do it patiently without ever making you feel like a nuisance. For a lot of people, especially people who hadn't been particularly comfortable with technology, it was the first time technology felt like it was actually on their side. It would actually assist you in using it. But there was always something missing. And that something is what the whole story is about today. Think for a moment about the difference between someone who answers the phone when you call and someone who actually works for you. If you call a helpline with a question, you get an answer. You hang up. Then the person on the other end moves on to the next caller. They don't think about you again. They're not going to call you back tomorrow with something they forgot to mention. They're not going to notice on their own that the situation you described has gotten worse. They help when asked and only when asked, and that's the entire whole of it. Now think about someone who actually works for you. They know your situation. They keep track of things. They notice when something needs attention before you have to ask. They take initiative. They handle problems while you're busy doing something else. When you come back at the end of the day, things have gotten done. You didn't have to be standing over them every minute. They just worked. Excuse me. Got to take a little drink of water. My throat ain't what it used to be. Nice little group of us here. Again, thank you for being here. Feel free to comment or question in the chat. It is live. That's why I'm doing these live and not pre-recording them. It's entirely so you can put down whatever you're thinking. Just keep it clean. So the AI most people know is the helpline. It's useful when you call, completely inert when you don't. What's coming is the employee. It's somewhat here now, but stay with me. The difference between those two things, not a small upgrade, it's a different category of relationship entirely. The thing replacing the chatbot is called an agent. We're only seeing the tip of the iceberg with agents. I want to explain what that means without using any technical language because the idea itself is straightforward. An AI agent is one that has a job rather than just a function. You don't sit down and ask it questions. You tell it what you need accomplished, the goal, an outcome, a task, and then you leave it alone. You go off, do other things, and it goes to work. It browses the internet for you. It writes documents. It sends communications, sends out emails. Maybe you use WhatsApp. It sends messages for that. It looks things up. It checks on things. It coordinates with other programs. And then it comes back to you when it has the results, or if it needs a decision from you, maybe while you're having lunch, maybe while you're watching TV, maybe while you're sleeping. It doesn't need you in the room. It doesn't go idle when you walk away. And unlike any human assistant, it doesn't get tired. It doesn't have bad days. It doesn't need weekends and can work on several things at the same time if you need it to. If you've ever had a genuinely good assistant, the kind you could hand something to and trust completely to see it through, you understand what I'm describing. The kind of person you could say, here's what I need, and then stop thinking about it because you knew it would get done. And that's what these new systems are designed to be. And again, we're seeing them like Anthropic has its co-work, for example. Even the chatbots have expanded what they once were. But I'm still not talking about that. It's what these systems are designed to be, but they're not on the drawing board yet. They're shipping right now, which brings me to some things that happened just this week. Yesterday, I don't know if you guys caught it. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, the man whose company gave us ChatGPT, posted a short message on social media. He wrote, I have so much gratitude to people who wrote extremely complex software character by character. It already feels difficult to remember how much effort it really took. Thank you for getting us to this point. Now, if you read it carefully, he's thanking programmers, the people who've spent their careers writing software by hand, for getting us to this point. Not congratulating on the work they're doing now, thanking them, past tense, for what they contributed to something that has apparently run its course. That's not a celebration. That's a retirement party speech. It's a thank you note to an era, written by the man most responsible for ending it. The website Futurism covered it under the headline, Sam Altman thanks programmers for their effort, says their time is over. That was a headline yesterday. He didn't say exactly those words, but the headline, it's not wrong. 6 days before that post, Altman was speaking at a financial summit in Washington, and he described something he was already seeing. A new kind of company he called a zero-person startup. No employees, no skeleton crew, none. The AI handles the software, the paperwork, the customer service, everything. He also said, and this is to be noticed, that the transition coming will involve what he called a painful adjustment. When the man who built the technology uses the word painful to describe what it will do to the economy, I think you should take him at his word. Now, there's another man who I can't pronounce his name for squat, Aditya Agarwal. He was a chief technology officer of Dropbox, you may be familiar with, which is one of the most widely used file storage services in the world. He recently spent a weekend working alongside one of these AI systems on a coding project. And when he came out the other side, he wrote publicly that he felt what he called a profound sadness. He said, "We will never write code by hand again. Not that it'll ever become less common. Never," he said, coding was something he was very good at and described it as now being free and abundant. That's a quietly devastating phrase. Free and abundant are wonderful words when you're shopping for something, but they feel different when what has become free and abundant is a skill you built your career on. Now, I have to confess, the past 2 months, I've been working on a software program. I have some coding background. I have a computer engineering degree, but that was early 80s. And I spent my career in management and consulting, not in coding. Well, I retained the logical thinking and the pattern recognition. I can't code. And even if I could, they don't use Fortran, they don't use COBOL, they don't use the ancient languages that I had. But in Python, with Anthropic code, I put together a very sophisticated program that within a few weeks will roll out for sale. It's already been beta tested. It's a damn good program. And they call it vibe coding. I held it by the hand. I carried the ideas. I did the improvements. I had to keep resetting it, watch out for hallucinations. I had to track for errors. So it was very interactive. However, I didn't write a line of code. We're going a step beyond that. So at the same time yesterday, Apple, the company that makes your iPhone, not mine, quiet released a piece of technology called Lito. It takes a single photograph and from that one image produces a fully detailed three-dimensional object that responds correctly to light in any environment. You take one picture of a piece of furniture with your phone, and someone on the other side of the world can drop a perfect digital version of it into their own living room and see exactly how it will look in their light against their walls. I mention this not because I want to be technical, but because it's a useful illustration. The technology is not staying inside chat windows. It's moving into physical space. Next year, it'll be moving into Tesla bots. The scope of what's happening is wider than most people's picture of AI. So what does this mean for us regular folks? And I'm retired, so honestly, I see a lot of opportunity with it. But I want to be straightforward with you about it because I think a lot of coverage on this subject either frightens people unnecessarily, you're going to lose your job, or the end of the world, or dismisses it as not worth worrying about. And neither of those are very useful. The AI most people became familiar with over the past 3 years, the helpful, patient, question, answer, go away, come back with a blank mind, and do it all over again. That was always there when you wanted it and quiet when you didn't. It was genuinely good. It was a breakthrough. It helped a lot of people with real things. It's still there. But it represents the first chapter of something whose later chapters are going to look very different. The agent system being built now are designed to move into every area of professional life. You are going to see the biggest snowball event of your life, because we're not talking a year or two. We're talking this year. Not just software development, but in medicine, law, finance, administration, research, customer service. There's already a huge push with independents writing customer service programs for phone calls and callbacks with no people involved. The people who designed them are saying so openly. And the question these systems raise is different from anything the chatbot raised. With the chatbot, the question was simply whether it was smart enough to be useful. And how do we get it to stop lying to us? That was a big one. With a system that acts on your behalf while you're not watching, the question becomes whether it can be trusted to make good decisions without you in the room. Now, that's a much harder question. And it doesn't currently have a fully settled answer yet. Ask Anthropic and the Department of War. Even among people building these things, what I keep thinking about is how many people are still oriented towards AI the way it was 2 or 3 years ago. The thing they've been cautiously exploring, maybe finding useful, maybe still a little suspicious of, thinking the big hurdle will be learning prompts. That's already the old generation. The transition to what comes next, we're in the middle of the first step of it. And it's not waiting for anyone to catch up. So when I say AI is dead, here's precisely what I mean. The version of AI that waited for you, that only came alive when spoken to, that did nothing while you went about your life, that forgot you existed the moment you closed the window, that version is being retired right now. The man who built it sent it a lovely thank you card. What replaces it doesn't wait. It works continuously, whether you're watching it or not. And I'm not saying this to alarm anyone. I mean, I moved to Colombia in 2018, and one of the things that happens when you step back from the daily noise for a few years is that you start to see the shape of things more clearly. And the shape of this particular thing is that a real transition is underway. It's happening faster than most people have registered. And having a clear picture of it, even just the basic outline, even without any of the technical details, puts you in a better position than not having it. The chatbot was a front porch, and the door behind it is open now. And that's what's inside. It's not a bigger chatbot. If you've been watching this channel, you know I've been immersed in AI. We're going on 16 months now. And the bulk of those months probably run 8 to 12 hours a day. And I've done some amazing things with it. And the learning curve has been tremendous. Just for jollies, I ask AI that I don't use, Gemini, to evaluate the production that I've created over the last handful of months. And it decided to call me a systems architect and an AI engineer, and I would be mid to senior level. Okay, I'm retired. You know, I'm an old fart. I don't need titles. I could care less. I'm certainly not looking for a job. The only reason I mention it is to tell you that the deeper you dive into it, the more you become engrossed in it, the more you realize what it needs. And when you start searching out to the companies, when is this coming along? You find out that rather than months down the road, these things are happening now. Just in the last couple months, I use primarily Claude, and I use Sonnet 4.6 because it's cheaper than Opus, and I'm on a limited income. But it's improved greatly, and it's far superior for what I do than GPT or Gemini, and Grok right now not even in the running. That'll change probably around summertime, but currently it's not even in the running. And so for coding, for writing, for just about everything, if you're on and you can't afford a couple $100 a month, Claude is the one that works for me. And so using these things intimately, opening up not just thousands, but tens of thousands of chat lines over the course of the last year and a half, or nearly year and a half, you start to see where it's strong, where it's weak, and it's mostly where it's weak. And when they roll things out like co-work, I've set up a number of things for co-work to do. It goes through various files, like my download file. Well, you know how those can get, and you don't want to maintain them. So I have it to go through and organize, and it will place different things, which is all in the setup, different things in different folders elsewhere in the computer. So if I have something that I downloaded that would be for this channel, for example, it will go to the Sane and Colombia folder, and it will store it there within the folder of whatever it is. Maybe I downloaded a picture that I want to use an idea for or something. Well, that's all great, but it's very limiting. These agents will get to a point very soon that you put in your first discussion of what it is you're trying to do, give it a few permissions, and it'll go for it. The program that I've written does exactly that. And again, I'm not selling you that program here. It's not even for sale yet, but it's a prime example, and it's how I've noticed these things. The program I've written, we've searched all over the place. It doesn't exist. But if you do videos and you need a script and you need topics, I've been doing Coffee Time Live for going on 10 years. You can imagine that there's only so many things you could talk about over the course of 10 years doing it every Sunday in Colombia. Well, this program will offer up topics. And if you don't like it, it'll offer you up 5 more and 5 more and 5 more. And then you choose a topic, and you can refine the topic or just run with it. And then you click on the next button, it researches it, and it sources all the research. And then you go to the next, and it'll write an outline, it'll write a script. If you tell it 3 to 5 minutes, if you tell it 10 to 15, you tell it 20 plus minutes, whatever it is, it will do it. You can use Claude, you can use GPT, you can use Gemini, you can use open source, any number, there's a whole bunch of them there. Then you go to the next screen. It will create the thumbnail based off of all of that information. And you can add a couple things, but basically the thumbnail's there. In the beginning, you can actually automate this. You can just choose a topic, do all of these things without my further input. That's an agent doing all kinds of tasks that used to take me about 5 hours, and that's after doing it for almost 10 years. It would still take me 5 hours. Last weekend, I'm talking on AI now. I'm not plugging a program. Last weekend, I was exhausted. I'm old. I'm recovering from some heart attacks. You get that way once in a while. The day before I had my Coffee Time Live and 11 o'clock on Sundays, right? Day before, I'm thinking, I'm going to have to call it off. I can't do it. And then it occurred to me that night, why didn't I test run this program? So I did. The next morning, I ran through it. It took me just under 20 minutes. I did the complete thing. I didn't even read the script. I chose Claude because I'm used to that one, but all within this program. I go in, I do my Coffee Time Live, my introduction, the news, the things that I usually do, and then I get to the main topic. That's my script. I caution people in the thumbnail and a preference at the start of the video that something will be different today. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but comment what you think it might be. At the end, I will reveal it. So I go through the whole video, the time and the weather in Colombia and all of this stuff. I do the main topic. I get to the end of the main topic. I read that cold. Script was cold. I had not previously read it. To be perfectly honest with you, it scared the crap out of me because I had no idea. I have tested this thing, but this was a real world, without even looking, over air with many people that I've known for years that have been watchers of that channel forever. And I could just picture what a disaster would be. What if the AI got started hallucinating in the middle of it? What if, yeah, so those things are running through my mind. When I got done, nobody knew. Nobody could tell. I got comments saying, we thought it was you. Well, that's good because this program is designed to use your particular voice. And I've got a whole, it's called the channel DNA. I've got a whole method, but it's all in the setup. And once the setup's done, it will maintain that. It cannot lose it. And so, like I say, it cut down 5 hours, all the research, it cut it down to under 20 minutes. Now, on an ongoing basis, yes, I'll use the program. That's why I wrote it. But I'll take a little more care to read it and maybe polish it, but still the research alone. I don't use AI for that, actually. I use AI to conduct the research. But because AI, unless you specifically direct it, it doesn't get current information. Like today, when I talked about what was said yesterday, if you run that by AI, it doesn't know that, because what it knows inherently, unless it goes off on a deep search that you direct it to, it only knows what was programmed into it at the LLM, and that was probably a month ago. So it's not up on current events. So like when I did the research setup, I used a program that universities use, but AI directs it. So what is this program? It's nothing more than the type of agents that's right around the corner. That is, people are beginning to create them right now. Now, this particular program, it doesn't exist on the market anywhere in the world. We couldn't find it. But there's programs doing other things very similar that takes an entire process and does the outcome that you're trying to reach. So hence today's topic. And in talking to people, when I talk about AI with people, they're still talking about they're struggling to find the right kind of prompt for the chat. And if that's where you're at, you got a lot of catching up to do. Okay, so that's all I got for today. I appreciate any kind of comments. Anybody that arrived here new from the AI world, I especially would like to hear from you. Feel free to comment below. If you think I'm crazy, that's fine too. Just keep it clean. And since I have no producer yet, maybe I'll make an AI to handle the production here too. But I'm going to end it here. Thank you all. And there'll be another Sane in Colombia next Thursday at 11 a.m. Coffee Time Live is Sunday at 11 always. And in between, I got a few other AI things that I'll be getting done. So I'll see you then. Ciao.
Okay.